many of you may know me as a grown man that spends far too much money and time playing mobile video games, but how did we get here? Today, we break down my story. So we've arrived at the beginning of our story. I'm a teenager, and much like most teenage boys, there's only one thing I'm really interested in: raiding hardcore 7 nights a week in World of Warcraft. I was actually obsessed with World of Warcraft. Every single waking minute, I was thinking about World of Warcraft. As soon as I got a phone in school, I was literally reading the World of Warcraft forums under the desk in every single lesson. Now, as a result of this, I didn't do too well on my exams. I got C's and D's. I pretty much failed, but just about passed at the same time, and I got into college and I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I just picked anything that would allow me to kind of stay in education, look like I was doing something, but in reality, I just wanted to play as many games as I possibly could. I quit playing World of Warcraft, I started playing Rift really hardcore, and every single day at college, I get the bus there, I kind of go to like my first lesson to keep minimum attendance, and then I bail on like the rest of the day. So I was doing the bare minimum, so I didn't get kicked out, but I was making no educational progress and really not trying hard at absolutely anything at all. I was just ticking boxes so that I wasn't going to get in trouble. Nothing, however, gets past my mum, and she noticed that I was starting to become a massive slacker and said, "You got to get a part-time job, you lazy scrub," and made me get a part-time job at the local supermarket Waitrose. We had some connections there because both my grandparents worked there for many years. So yeah, that was my first job, a checkout till boy. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It was actually like quite fun at times because I really like talking to people, and some days you just have so many great conversations, and also the people I was working with were absolutely amazing. We used to go on nights out, have parties, like it was just a really fun time. Now, one of the big pros of working part-time is I was going from £0 to £300 every single month, and that allowed me to fund plenty of reckless nights out, but also pay for my Rift subscription and multiple computer accessories. And occasionally I'd do overtime and additional shifts to get even more money, but once you start to get money, you start to realize that money is pretty damn helpful. However, at this time, I'm still in college, but I just don't care about it. I'm not interested in what I'm studying. I just want to go home and play games, or I want to go to work and make some money. And this is where a fairly new government apprenticeship scheme came into play. Via the government website, I managed to get an interview for the Citizens Advice Bureau in Rushmore, and somehow I managed to get the job and secure the apprenticeship there. So many of you may be wondering, what is the Citizens Advice Bureau? Well, it's essentially a charity that helps people that are in need of advice when it comes to legal advice surrounding employment, debt and money, family issues, housing issues, consumer issues, benefits, like any basic legal stuff. They are amazing at helping with and pointing you in the right direction. So I initially got trained as a gateway assessor, so that's kind of the first point of contact with the bureau. So when people come in, they've got problems, they just want to offload on somebody, then I was the person that they would talk to either via in person, or for slightly more vulnerable people, we did operate an advice line as well, because not everybody wants to be seen in person coming down to the Citizens Advice Bureau to talk about sensitive relationship issues and also big issues surrounding employment. During my time working at the Citizens Advice Bureau, it was such an eye-opening experience because I was 17. You know, as a kid, you're fairly shielded from the world, and then you're very closely seeing all of these crazy issues and very heavy issues surrounding financial trouble, relationship problems, domestic violence, employment issues. My experience there was so valuable, and I've learned so much about life and seen so many stories of people that have got themselves into all sorts of different situations, and I would not change the experience I had there for the world. But there were some months where I dealt with some very heavy cases, and this kind of took a bit of an emotional toll on me, and I was clinically signed off with depression for almost 2 months after about a year and a bit of working there. Looking back, I can't really explain it. I think it was just like a lot to process and a lot to handle for an 18-year-old. It was like I had been living in a dream world, and then kind of the real world and all of these stories and burdens of problems were on my doorstep, and they were my responsibility to help and manage. And I think that just got a bit too overwhelming for me at that age. But I had some time off. I had a lot of time to think and relax and take a bit of a step back. And then I really went at the last year of the job very hard, just had a fantastic time, tried to take less of the burden emotionally upon myself. And it was just a fantastic final year. And I really enjoyed the experience overall. Again, it was so valuable for everything that I learned and saw during that time, but also it was a lot to take aboard. Most volunteers and people working there were only doing like 1 day a week and like half the day, whereas I was there like 5 days a week, constantly seeing everything, tracking like so many cases. It was a lot to manage, but I think it really helped me grow up and mature a lot faster. During this time as well, I was playing Rift, and I was seeing all of these people kind of come up on YouTube and seeing articles about this guy's making $100,000 a year playing video games on YouTube. And this was kind of the time where like YouTube was booming a little bit. So I started a channel, and I fairly quickly got about 1,000 subscribers making Rift videos. And I remember whenever one of my videos got over like 100 views, man, I'd be so incredibly gassed. And I kind of built the channel up to about like 3,000, 4,000 subscribers during my last year at the Citizens Advice Bureau. Then with a brand new game Arcade launching and me thinking it was going to be crazy hype and just taking over the world, I decided to take a bit of a leap of faith and quit my job at the Citizens Advice Bureau after 2 and a bit years of working there, because I wanted to see if I could really make a push and make YouTube full-time, my dream, a reality. So I had a little bit of money in the bank, a grand and a bit. I quit my job at this time as well. I was dating a girl that I was really into, but I failed. I failed really miserably. I didn't have the work ethic. I wasn't committed enough to making the videos. I was far too focused on actually playing the game itself and trying to be the best player that I didn't have the balance of also putting in the time to nourish my YouTube career. And I just didn't have the knowledge and expertise that I now have when it comes to how to dress up and market my videos and make thumbnails and stuff. I just wasn't actually prepared for full-time YouTube, and I didn't realize this until I went full-time YouTube and then realized I wasn't ready for it. So I've quit my job, YouTube's not really picking up, and my girlfriend dumps me. So now I'm just in a state of brokenness for a couple of months. Like, I would get out of bed in the afternoon, like 2, 3 o'clock, just play the game, maybe do like 1 video a week, barely making like $100 a month off YouTube, and it's just in a miserable pit is how I can describe it. Just a pit of misery. I feel like everything that I had at the start of the year is gone, and I've placed all my chips on a bet that didn't pay off, but also I didn't put in the work or do the research to really properly prepare for it as well. So I'm just kind of in this cycle of like hating myself, and at the time as well I'm so heartbroken over getting dumped that I was just broken. So this is where the hero of the story, my mum, comes into action, and she says, Callum, they're hiring at the local trampoline park. They're doing group interviews on Thursday. You got to go down there. You have been sat in your room doing nothing for months. Like, I'm not letting you do this. You got to get back out in the world. You got to start trying again. And you got to get a job. And you got to earn some money. So I went to the interview, and the manager, Simon, took a little bit of liking to me and offered me a job on front of house, checking people in, cleaning up the cafe, and also cleaning out the toilets as well. So whenever I want to be humbled, I always remember the many times where I was cleaning vomit off the toilets in a trampoline park. Always great memories, boys. Keep yourself in check. But even though it wasn't the best job in the world, I was so much happier being out of the house and having kind of a purpose in the world and working with a team of people. And I just became really good friends with so many people. And one of those people was, again, Simon the manager. And I said to him one day, because the company's presence on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook was terrible. They were paying this woman like a few £100 every single month to pretty much do nothing, man. Her social media posts were terrible, some of the worst I've ever seen. So I said to him one day, Simon, I could run the company's social media 10 times better than the current woman you're paying. And he said, I believe you, but I want to see what ideas you have. put together a presentation, you've got a week, and then we'll have a meeting, sit down and talk about it. So this was my shot, this was my opportunity, and I went so ham on this presentation. I probably spent about 40 hours over the next week just doing all the research I could on every single trampoline park globally. I pulled together this massive information from all the trampoline parks in America, Australia, everywhere globally that had a trampoline park, that had a social media page and a website. I was looking at what they were doing, what was working, what was not working, and just kind of laying out all this data and information, and then creating kind of a new rebranded plan for the Gravity Force trampoline parks moving forward. And the presentation was a banger, boys. Absolutely smashed it. So I was well happy. I remember Simon being sat opposite me and just being like, damn, you really went ham on this presentation. I was like, dude, I had to go all out. Like, this is my chance. This is my opportunity to, you know, progress in the company. I know you've got big plans moving forward, and I want to be a part of those plans. Then I spent a couple of months still working on front of house, checking people in, cleaning the toilets, but also running the social media as I was doing that, kind of taking photos, videos, working with some of the boys that, you know, were really, really sick on the trampolines to do all sorts of compilations and weird videos. So that was very fun. But then a couple of months later, the company was expanding and planning on opening multiple trampoline parks throughout the country. So they brought in a new marketing manager, Rich, and I got promoted to digital marketing executive, and me and Rich, we worked very closely together for a few months, and then they brought in Chloe and also Nick onto our team as well, as we were planning to kind of take on the country and make Gravity Force a nationwide brand. During this time, I was on top form. I was absolutely smashing it, and I was tweeting out to YouTubers Photoshop pictures of their face on like somebody jumping on a trampoline in one of our parks, and I'd tweet it to them and be like, hey, do you want to come down and have this entire trampoline park to yourself to film a video? And it actually worked. We got some crazy videos, massive exposure out of some top YouTubers in the UK like Rotoshore, and managed to get summers where we were fully booked, like business was booming, cash was rolling in, and we were having a great time. Along with creating social media content, reaching out to influencers, kind of sorting out various events on top of that as well, we are creating new products, new brands, a new website, new booking system, and just loads of crazy stuff moving forward, while also planning the launch of several trampoline parks. Now, the first 2 years of business were ridiculous. So in the first year, there were 3 trampoline parks in England, Gravity Force Camberley being one of them. The second year, there were 29 trampoline parks. However, the year after that, oversaturation kicked in because the trampoline parks that were operating were so profitable that everybody wanted to open one. So it went from 3 to 29 to about 140. This caused a massive collapse of the industry, and unfortunately redundancies did need to be made. Now, they had a bit of a chat with us about who wants to be made redundant, and I was kind of at the point, I've been working for the company for 2 and a bit years, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time there, I really did, but talking about trampoline parks and looking at trampoline parks and thinking about trampoline parks all day every day for 2 and a bit years, like, you start to get very bored of trampoline parks. Now, also, a few months before this, I downloaded a mobile game, you might have heard of it, called Marvel Contest of Champions, and I was obsessed with this game, man. I was playing it non-stop, like, I was spending a bit too much money on it as well, like a couple of £100 every single month, and my salary was going straight into this game, and I kind of noticed on YouTube that nobody was really covering the game and doing videos, and I kind of identified, like, a good amount of demand for it as well. Running all of the social media and being so involved in the marketing team gave me an incredible insight into what was working online, what wasn't working. I also built up my skill set in Photoshop and learned how to use that. So I'd gained all of this knowledge and experience that I could directly translate and apply into attempting to become a YouTuber, but it was up to me to put in the work. So I took redundancy. I got a nice little payout, nothing like too big, but enough to keep me going for a few months and also fund the studio, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, when I got home, I told my parents about the business and how I'd taken redundancy, and I said I want to give it one more try to see if I can make it to become a full-time YouTuber. I know what went wrong last time. I have the knowledge, I have the experience, I've got the work ethic, and I will put in the hours to make it happen. I think their first reaction was to be a little bit skeptical, but also they're always so supportive at the same time. It's just, I think they didn't want to see me get into the situation that I was in before, where I was just a complete mess, wasn't going anywhere, and kind of just needed to get out the house. But this time it was different, because I was committed to doing one video every single day. And then I realized the first week in that one video every single day is a very low bar. With the kind of content I was producing, I could do one video and then I'd still have like, 10, 12 hours left in the day. So I was like, okay, like second week, we're going to do 2 videos every single day. And then I realized doing 2 videos every single day that not only could I easily manage it as well, I still had many hours left in the day, but also the more videos I was doing, the more response I was getting on the channel. The harder I worked and the more I put out, the more I could engage with people and cater to people that wanted to see all sorts of different stuff. This quickly transitioned into 2 to 4 videos a day, maybe a live stream on top of that. Certain days on the channel, we have uploaded like 5 to 8 videos on my main channel, and nowadays my work ethic, again, it spans from like anywhere 2 to maybe like 10 videos across my 7 Deadly Sins and also my Marvel Contest of Champions channel. So when I start grinding, I've got this goal in mind. The goal to become a full-time YouTuber and have a decent salary is 1 million views every single month. And if you even want to think about becoming a full-time YouTuber and dedicating your job to this, you need a very smart plan to consistently get 1 million views every single month. That is, at least in my opinion, the baseline minimum to make it financially on YouTube. 1 million views every single month is a very big and very daunting figure when you're starting out and you're grinding up. So I was breaking it down to a goal of 33,000 views every single day. So that is, averaged out over 31 days, just over 1 million views there. So that is the goal that you need to grind toward, and I was grinding toward as an upcoming YouTuber. The first month of consistently doing this, I managed to have my best month ever on YouTube, and I made about $300. So again, not a crazy figure, but the growth was going up so exponentially that the next month I managed to make $600, and then after that, just over $1,000 on YouTube. But I still wasn't quite at the 1 million views mark yet, although I was very close. Everything was going so well, and at this point, I had a chat with my parents. I said, look, I really want to take this to the next level. The numbers are there. I believe I can do it, but I need a separate place to record, because recording in the house, you got my sister in, you got my parents in the evening. Sometimes, they're having like friends around as well. So it's really difficult to be recording when I need to record. So I need a separate place to do that. Would it be possible if I could build a log cabin studio in the garden with the savings that I've got from when I was made redundant at Gravity Force? I think at this point they'd really seen a positive shift in my mentality and attitude toward work, and they agreed to do it. So we got a family friend builder in to sort it out. He did an amazing job creating this studio. Me and my dad, we soundproofed it. We put in a dartboard, loads of cool Marvel stuff, the lights. It was just really comfy and cozy. And also we have the infinitely memed casting couch that used to be in the backdrop of all of my studio videos. So that was a fun time. And at the time as well, I was getting a bit fatigued from being in my bedroom, so it was just so perfect to actually get out of my bedroom and be able to leave that on a daily basis and go to this really comfy studio, got some nice heating in it, and just work and have fun doing live streams and making all sorts of crazy videos. And I love my time in the studio. We just had so much fun, like so many memes were made on the Marvel Contest of Champions channel. So massive thank you to my parents for letting me build a studio in their garden. And now my sister has that studio as her kind of gym and bodybuilding temple, something like that. But yeah, that's what it is now. So I'm a little bit sad that the place of degeneracy and mobile gaming and gambling has now been turned into a place for fitness. That's kind of the polar opposite of its intention. But my little sister has been doing so well with her business and in her competitions, and she really works hard, and I'm so proud of her. So I grinded my ass off in that studio for a couple of years. We hit 100,000 subscribers. We hit 200,000 subscribers. We got some crazy sponsors. Shout out to Raid Shadow Legends. And your boy made a little bit of bankroll. Enough bankroll to buy a house and also meet the love of my life, Charlie. Charlie is amazing. We've been together for just over 2 years now, and she's the most supportive girlfriend ever. She's a little bit camera shy and never wants to come on the videos, but she's always doing so much for me behind the scenes. And honestly, she has just been amazing. She's my rock, my foundation. So mad love to Charlie. She truly is the love of my life. But now we live in a house together. We've moved to Basingstoke, and we've got this gorgeous house with 2 lovely rabbits. We got an adorable cat called Luna, who's incredibly mischievous as well, and we're just having the best time. Thank you for over 100,000 subscribers on the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross channel, and a massive thank you for all the continued support on the Marvel Contest of Champions channel. We are very close now to 300,000 subscribers on the main, and it is just mental. The results that I've had on YouTube have greatly exceeded my wildest expectations. I would have never in a million years guessed I would have had half the success that we've had on YouTube, and I'm so grateful and I'm so humbled every single day that I get to do this for a living. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope you enjoyed the story of Seatin, and it gave you a bit of an insight into who I am and where I've come from. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.